Hello and welcome to RB&D Reviews. I'm Dave.
And I am Rob.
And today we're going to be doing a review of a silent movie starring Charlie Chaplin called The Gold Rush.
Yes, now this is part of the program that Dave and I are currently doing. We've been taking DVD requests almost every week, and this request came from Indy Ovid. Indy originally wanted us to review. There's two cuts of the movie. There's the original 1925 silent version that runs at 96 minutes, and in 1942 Charlie Chaplin re-released the movie with him narrating it and including sound effects, and that one runs at 69 minutes. So Indy originally wanted us to review just the silent version, but something happened and we ended up watching both versions. So in addition to talking about the movie, we'll talk a little bit about the different cuts and what we liked and disliked about it.
It was fun to watch. I mean, I haven't seen one of them silent movies in a long time. I had forgotten how much fun they were, because when you watch them completely silent without the commentary, then you can just like make up your own explanation about it and everything.
Yeah, because it's visual. You can see stuff through the characters and their movement and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Personally, I mean, I know Chaplin has been revered as one of an artist, and I respect him. But personally, I prefer Buster Keaton, who was another silent film comedian from the same time. I find Keaton's films a little bit more, not original, but a little bit more interesting. Like his film, like this film is not gag oriented. Charlie Chaplin, tries to develop, a story and get you, the audience, to feel for his character and stuff. And Keaton doesn't really care. He's like this character, and I like an alien that's in this weird situation. He finds creative ways to get out of. Like for example, in Cops, the cops are after him, and he's finding different ways to dodge them. And they're more gag oriented, I think, and you don't always know what direction Keaton's going to go. And while Chaplin, you know what you get into when you go into this world. But regardless, even though I'm not Chaplin's die-hard lover, I do respect him as an artist, and he took his time making these silent movies. He was a perfectionist. This was one of his first features that he made not from I think 1914 up until about 1921. He made mainly shorts. There's some people that feel that Chaplin never quite made it into features like he did with the shorts. But with this movie, I agree. I liked it. I think it's definitely one of my favorites that I've seen. I would probably put City Lights and let's see, City Lights. I would probably put that one a little bit before this one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I liked it. This movie contains a lot of memorable comedy sequences. Like for example, there's this scene where he and another prospector are staying in a cabin, and they're snowed in, and they're resorted to eating, their boots and shoes and all this. There's the scene later in the movie involving the cabin on top of a cliff.
Right.
And it's teeter-tottering. It's really wonderful put together.
And there's also the very famous gag where he takes the forks and the rolls, and he makes them look like dancing feet when he's with the girls and everything. That's been like redone in a lot of comedy movies, especially with like Johnny Depp, like in Benny and June.
For me, the silent version for me had a few slow spots. I could probably see why when Chaplin re-released it, he shortened it a little bit. But I mean, there's different ways Chaplin, made you, the audience, feel for his character. For example, when he sees the girl he kind of has a crush with, there's a title card saying, I wish I could meet somebody interesting, and then Chaplin's like right behind her, and she's turning around and doesn't really notice him and stuff. So, and of course the scene with the rolls, there's a Christmas scene where he's waiting for, or a New Year's party scene that he's waiting for them to show up. Her and her friends, and they don't. So you really get more emotion with Chaplin than you do with Keaton and maybe even Harold Lloyd. All right. Well, now that we talked about what we thought of the movie, let's talk about these two cuts. Now, I found that the silent version is in the public domain. Warner Brothers, who's releasing a lot of Chaplin's feature films, put together a collection where you get to see the 1942 release on one disc and the silent version on another.
I think it's kind of interesting, the one where he like narrates it. That one seems more like a movie nowadays when they narrate it, because it's like you really can't like use your own imagination with it, because they're telling you everything they're doing. He's talking for like everybody, and that it's better when it's like silent, because then you can just make stuff up as it goes along, what he could be saying and everything.
Yeah, but then the narration for me, I had a mixed reaction to this version of the movie. I thought the music was better than it was on the silent version. I thought the orchestra that was used, was better suited. It was very energetic. It fit the mood very well.
Yeah, I did like the music better in the narrated version.
Yeah, with the Chaplin narrated the version. At first, I found the narration to be kind of. It sounded like a trailer, like a newsreel narration. Like at the beginning, he's dramatic. Like the opening scene, which is a very very good opening descriptive shot. You don't see a lot of that in silent comedies, where there's people. The prospectors are going over the hills. You see people falling. It's very, very descriptive about the hardships that the people were facing in the in the cold and all. But at first it sounded like a trailer. He's like, in the cold, desolate weather, these people have been trying hard, and all this other stuff. I'm like, okay, take it easy. And then, of course, I mean, it was fine when he was speaking for the characters, like when it sounded like he was almost like telling you a story, but there were times where I felt like he kind of, there were parts where I could see it and he didn't need to explain anything. For example, there was a scene where Chaplin's outside on the mountain cliff and then he just slides down. He's like, whoop, and he slides down the mountain. I'm like, I can see that. Or there's a scene where he walks into the cabin for the first time. He's like, and then the little fellow goes through the cabin. I'm like, I can see that. You don't need to tell me that. But I mean, when he's talking, when he's doing the dialogue, and I think that for me that worked a lot better. I can kind of see why Chaplin thought that his voice wouldn't have suited the sound pictures, like with the tramp persona per se.
Yeah.
But, after a while, I got used to it. I thought that, once he became less dramatic, I thought it suited the picture better. So, but I would definitely say if you're, I would probably recommend the silent film a little bit more, even though I thought the narrated version, I thought moved a little bit better, I think.
Yeah.
There were, maybe when Chaplin re-released the movie in 1942, he realized that maybe the movie was a little too long, and that's why he trimmed some stuff out of it. The silent version, like I said, it was about 96 minutes. There were a few spots where I thought it kind of slowed a little bit. The narrated version, I think, is much better paced.
Near the end of the narrated version, it kind of drags a little bit. Well, both versions near the end, it gets a little bit overkill after a while, because it's like he's doing this, he's doing that.
This is the film Chaplin said that he would want to be remembered by. I liked it. I think for me, I think his features got a little bit better as he went on.
Yeah.
I do kind of see why people think he was better with shorter films than he was with features. I mean, people can make an argument either way that his films were perfect and fine and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I do kind of agree that he was better suited for short films, because I think because I agree, sometimes his features do feel kind of spread out, and like sometimes it feels like he's trying to fill space in here and there.
When he started making the movies later, where there was sound and everything, later on, like Great Dictator and all that, those are like some of my more favorites. He
held out on sound for so long. He didn't make his first sound movie, The Great Dictator, till 1940. He made 2 films during the 30s. One was City Lights, which began just right before the sound films came in. Mm-hmm. He made Modern Times, where he had to, compose a musical score and add sound effects and everything. And then after a while, he's like, you know what? It's time to start making sound films. And of course, he just had to stop using, the tramp, and he started using other characters. Like in 1947, he made a dark comedy called Monsieur Verdot, which is a dark comedy which I didn't care for. He made a movie called Limelight, which I really enjoyed.
Right.
And then, of course, he made a satire. I believe it's The King in New York. So that's our review of The Gold Rush. We both enjoyed it. So that's our review. And if there's any other movies you'd like us to review for our DVD thing, we're still going to be taking requests until the end of August. So thank you very much for watching.